Bonjour, Katie Nadizhnakaz, Emily Ishnakazo. My name's Katie and this is Emily. She's my helper today. We're going to show you how to make a really easy lunch and it's very delicious. It's easy, AM. So we need 2 ingredients, Nijin ingredients, some flour and some water. And we're going to make really delicious homemade noodles. Okay, you guys ready? Okay. You take 1 scoop of flour, like a good cup or so for 1 person to have noodles, or maybe for 2 if they don't need a lot. So put that in there, Em. And then we're going to put some water, and we don't really measure the water or the flour. We just do maybe 1/4 of a cup. So you can always start with a bit less water, and then you can mix it up and add more if you need to. So Emily, do you want to start mixing it up? And use this end of the spoon, okay, because it makes it easier. So Emily's going to start mixing. Good job, keep going. Okay, can I have a little feel, darling? Okay, we're gonna need a bit more water in there. I can feel. You wanna pour a bit more in? Okay, that's good. You need to have lots of muscles to do this.
I did it.
You have lots of muscles too. Okay, this is what it looks like right now. And I'm gonna try and stick it together into a ball using my hands. Remember to wash your hands before you do this. Okay, Emily, do you want to put just a little splash of water in there, darling? Not too much, just a bit. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Boy, this is looking good. Okay. It's ready to come out of the bowl. Here's what the dough looks like. So now we're going to put it on our counter, and we'll keep that over there for now. And we'll put a little bit of flour on just to make sure it doesn't stick too much. Let's move the water out of the way so we don't knock it over. Okay, and then we're just going to knead it a little bit. Do you want to try kneading now?
Okay.
Okay, pull up your sleeves. Kneading is just squishing the dough around. Okay. Use 2 hands. Good job. It's just about time to roll out our dough now, and this is a rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, you could use a can of soup or something like that, but just make sure you take the label off it and wash it so there's no germs. Okay, let's try to roll. And we're gonna roll this out as thin as possible. Sometimes it's easier to roll from the edges instead of trying to roll right from the middle. And if it gets stuck on your rolling pin, just put a bit more flour on. Okay, Emily finished rolling out the dough. That looks great, Emily. So let's show everybody how big it is. And it's pretty thin. If you can't get it really, really thin, it's okay. So now we're going to sprinkle a bit of flour on top of the dough. Do you want to do that, Em?
Yeah.
Just a little bit, okay? And this will make sure the dough doesn't stick together when we cut it out. Okay, so we'll kind of rub it around. Now, Emily, this is the part you always do when we make our own noodles. Do you remember the cutting? Okay, so we have a little cutting board here, and we'll take the dough and kind of roll it up. And then we'll put it on the cutting board, and Emily will start cutting it. And you want to cut it about 1 centimeter wide. So if you don't know what a centimeter is, you could always look at a ruler. That's a really good way to learn about how much things measure. This part is always good to have an adult help you with the cutting to make sure that you're doing it really safe. Emily's keeping her fingers away from the edge of the knife, so that's a really good way to do it. Good job, Em. Okay, so Emily finished cutting up all of the noodles. Good job, Emily. So if you take one, you can unravel them and you see you have a long piece of pasta. So instead of unraveling them all in our hands, we'll just try to put some inside our hands and shake them out a little bit. And you'll see they start to unravel, and that's why we put the flour on. If some of them are stuck together, you can just kind of rip them apart. This isn't fancy, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just for fun. Okay, so now we have some water boiling on our stove, and we put a little bit of salt in it. And this is something that an adult should help you with. We're going to take the pasta noodles over to the pot of water and put them in the water to cook them. Okay, so these are only going to take about 2 minutes to cook. We'll just carefully stir them. Okay, so we're back. You can see that this is getting a little bit foamy. See? And that means that it's going to overflow because of all the flour inside your pasta noodles. So you just have to turn it down, or an adult can carefully move it from the stove just for a minute. Okay, that looks great. I'm going to turn the heat off. It's been 2 minutes. And now we're going to take these tongs here and take the hot noodles out of the boiling water and put them into our sauce that was warming on the stove. This is a good part that an adult can help you with because the noodles are pretty long and sometimes they're a bit slippery. And of course they're very hot because we've just cooked them. These look really good, eh, Emily?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give them a little mix with a spoon. Do you want to mix it, Em? Okay, don't stand in front of the camera. Okay, so the noodles are all done. We put them in the sauce. And now I'm just going to scoop them into a bowl. And if you like cheese on your noodles, you could put cheese on or pepper. And if you don't like spaghetti sauce, you could just have butter, whatever you like. So you saw that was enough to make noodles for about 1 or 2 people. And we used 1 cup of flour. So if you wanted to make more noodles than that, you'd have to double the amount of flour. And I would say don't work with more than 3 cups of flour at a time because otherwise it gets really hard to stir. So Emily, do you want to try the noodles and see if they're good?
Hot.
They're
hot.
quiche. Well, thanks for coming and watching us cook. We hope that you'll try making some homemade noodles for your family while you're at home.